2016. I'm David Lamb. A couple of housekeeping things. You're all on mute, I'm afraid. That's just to keep the broadcast nice and clean. But if you do have any questions, please just go to the question box and just type in your question under the question box, and I'll answer it as soon as I see it, if I see it. But I'll definitely have a look at it before I finish the presentation. So we're excited for the fall for many reasons. We hope we're bringing you lots of value, that you maybe can turn these grapes of value into tremendous wine with your dealers. Enough of the bad analogies. So in the sort of bigger picture, what are we seeing in the marketplace? So year to date, we've seen very strong growth both in M&P product sort of sectors. We're actually over 15%. So thank you to everyone who's been working with us. We really appreciate your business, and we hope you still find Mitsubishi a worthwhile product that's helping you, both grow your business and increase your profitability. Mitsubishi, as I'm sure you're all aware, is continuing to invest heavily, far greater than any other vendor, in their national campaign. And what it's really trying to do there is create tremendous front-of-mind brand awareness. And really then it's up to you, the dealer, to try and harvest that into your business. And their sort of theme for the fall is going to be around what they're calling zoned comfort solutions. So how packaging the many options that they have can bring a very specific solution to a homeowner. And that sort of, I'd call it mass customization that they offer, which is far greater than any other vendor. That said, for all the advertising and branding that they're creating, we still see a tremendous need for education of the customer around what a mini split system is and how it works. So there is that gap between brand awareness and then how a mini split system is effective and is as good as, better than a traditional system. What we're also seeing is dealers with the strongest growth in our market and our customers are really developing now a strong online presence over multiple media. So it's not just now about having a web page. It's about how you're using social media. It's about how you're making sure that your online reviews are positive. It's about how you're maybe creating some Facebook ads and things like that. But these people are not abandoning the traditional campaigns that they've always done. So they're dovetailing and interconnecting the new type of marketing with their traditional campaigns like direct mail, get a free service for a referral, spiffs to text, all those sorts of traditional mechanisms. And then what we see is, and it's no mystery, is the guys who are spending and advertising and spending the co-op we make available are the ones who are growing the fastest. And that's because of really the second point, which is there's this tremendous brand awareness that people have for Mitsubishi that's just waiting to be landed with a dealer that contacts them in some significant way. So some of the changes that we're seeing, and I like this statistic, which really is saying that even when you're in a relationship with a customer, they're still looking and going online, validating and looking what other options are. And I showed this in the last webinar we did, but it really illustrates how someone, through her buyer's journey, went online many times before she even went into the showroom to buy a car. And she'd done much of her own research and education before she then went to buy her car. And much of this activity, the pre-going to buy, is invisible to you, the dealer. So how do you provide information to these people so that they're then likely to contact you in some traditional way? And that sort of education, becoming the trusted vendor, is going to become more and more important. And that's why your online presence becomes more and more important. And the other thing that I thought was very interesting, and I again showed this slide last time, but I think it puts the the program booking context, is that a good many people are doing that sort of research before they buy. Appliances are probably as close as you're going to get to, putting in a heating and cooling system. That's over half the market are doing a lot of research before they come in and touch any vendor in a real way. So if you only want to address half the market, don't have online presence, don't start to share useful information. If you want to really address the full market that's interested in your products and services, you need to start to think about how you're providing that usable and digestible information. And then just looking at personal referrals and how important a personal referral is. And you can see it, the trust level of a personal referral, i.e. someone who had someone else say, these guys are good, is 90%. And that's significantly greater than everything else that you can drive. So driving personal referrals should be one of your key strategies for the fall. And just some other stats on referral programs: 69% faster close, higher lifetime value, higher conversion rates. It should be a key strategy for you guys. And how do you drive it? Simple one. How about a $100 Visa gift card or a free full service for each lead you get from one of your existing customers? And we'll co-op that if we can provide the right controls around it and discuss it with you. If you go to ducttapemarketing.com, lots of good ideas around referrals. And this is very a low-cost sort of marketing approach, but a lot of good ideas worth following through on. The other interesting stat, I'm sure you all know it, is that existing customers are 3 times more likely to buy from you than new prospects. And that's probably going to be even more skewed given the uncertainty with the election coming up and everything, which tends to slow people's purchases down. So how can you get to direct your existing customers? In the traditional way, you can do direct mail, telemarketing, bill stuffers, email marketing if you have a nice strong email list, and even Facebook if you're starting to build up your following on Facebook. And when we think about the buyer's journey and how your campaigns might relate to this, the first 2 stages are really that pre-consideration, gathering information, and what information can you provide to these people in those stages. And these are the things that you want to be thinking about so that when they get to the decision stage, they're more likely to select you, because that's when they're actually going to make a direct contact to you. And here's some sort of information that you can start to think about providing at the various levels. More online orientated this, but even some of your traditional mechanisms, particularly on the consideration side, you can think about, well, how can we appear to provide useful information that relates to the problems that they're seeing, so that they're more likely then to consider me when they're ready to buy a system. And the questions you should be asking yourself is, how does my online presence support homeowners looking for information? What information can the homeowner download in exchange for contact information? You want to be continually trying to build your email list, your contact information electronically all the time, because that's a very cost-effective way of touching customers on a regular way. How will a homeowner see the comfort problems they face on my website? People are looking for that empathy, looking to see themselves in what you're presenting. And that's also true in any other sort of marketing campaign you might generate. The more they see themselves in the problems that you're solving and the solutions you're proposing, then the more likely they are to work with you. And part of that is having geographic case studies. And if you have hotspots that with very similar applications going into those hotspot areas, those are the things you want to be making sure are online, because then more people are likely to see that and see those problems, and you're more likely to get that business. And really what you're trying to do is, how do I become a trusted vendor? And if you don't think you're doing that with your online presence, what do you need to do? And you know many of the answers. What are the common problems you're asked to solve with Mitsubishi? How much do you have to explain about how it works? How much do you have to explain about how it is installed? How much do you have to explain about energy saving opportunities? What are the rebates available? How much will it cost? You can provide much of this information up front, so that again you're helping them move through their decision-making process. And the great thing about this is, not only is it going to help you sell more, it's going to help the actual sales process, because you're automating some of the education process with those individuals, so that your sales call time should fall considerably because you've provided a lot more education to them up front. So given all those sort of broader parameters, what do we need to do? So the first thing is to be aware of who Mitsubishi is marketing to, because what we want to do is make sure that the local pieces that we're generating are talking to the people that Mitsubishi's engaging at the national level. And their marketing is very, very targeted. They're going after comfort seekers and tech seekers. And here are the kinds of traits these comfort seekers and tech seekers have. So we really need to make sure that any marketing that we do in the local market is also talking to these sorts of needs and these sorts of people. I hate to use the cliche, I use it all the time, but we're trying to get 1 and 1 to equal 3, not 1 and 1 to equal 1. And then the other thing, I think, as we move into the heating season to be aware of, is that we're in a prime hyperheat market. And with the hyperheat, you can provide heating down on the coldest day to the homeowner with very little performance degradation. Full heat down to 5 degrees and 95% at 0, which even on our coldest day should provide enough heat for any home. And that removes the need for secondary heat. So without much more ado, I'm going to start looking at the program book, if I can find it. So what we do every year is, every season, we try to pull together what we think are the best bits in the multitude of activities that Mitsubishi is doing, and try and put it in one book so you can pull from there what you really want to do. So this is our fall edition. The paper version will be out and should be in the branches by the end of the week, and the TMs will have them next week, so please make sure you have a copy. I'll also send to all of you on the webinar an electronic copy as well. So like I said, one of the prime brands and branding messages that Mitsubishi is going to be pushing all fall is zone comfort solutions. And that's about the ability to have different temperatures in different rooms, and also with different indoor units. They don't, you've got the wall units. You could have an MVZ up in the roof with ductwork dropping down, or you can have a recessed unit. But the opportunity is to mix and match whatever that home needs with the right systems, with the right outdoor unit. And that ability to mix and match really gives you that zone comfort solution. And here's another view of that. But looking at all the different indoor product options you have a far greater range than any of the other vendors. I think in a slide a little later on, you'll see that we're something like 50% more in terms of options. And that's something that you should be mentioning to the homeowner, that you can give the homeowner a far more personalized, customized solution for their needs. than any of the other vendors. And what we're trying to do is knock out, disqualify any of the other brands so that Mitsubishi is most likely to win those deals. So some things that you probably want to make sure you emphasize in terms of the differences is the hyperheat capability. There's still a number of vendors don't have that capability. Certainly none of the other vendors have the broad range of hyperheat units and ability to mix and match that Mitsubishi has. The red link control options, and that's just that sort of, and that's the Mitsubishi 6000. That's something that's very familiar to a lot of people, and certainly to the comfort seekers plays very well. So that wide range of product opportunity, and the most Energy Star rated system. So you're more likely to get rebates with what you're putting in, and you're more likely to get a better energy efficient solution. Other things to let people know. We still have the highest reliability in the industry. Great warranty, 10 and 12 years. And tremendous field support, both, Pierce Phelps provides that, and also Mitsubishi with their regional and national services. We've worked very hard over the last year to make sure we have the right products at the right place at the right time, so you can pick that up at short notice. We have a lot of customized promotions that we'll work with you to help you build your marketing and sales strategies. We have factory certified training and support. We will be running our same tech trainings in the fall. If you go to Pierce Phelps and click on the training button, that'll give you the training dates for the 2-day certifications for techs. We have one of the best local Mitsubishi websites. We probably generate between 50 and 60 leads a month from the website that goes to dealers. And we have our own technical support, like I mentioned. So if we do the product comparison, I had Mitsubishi sort of pull this together, what you can see is how much more we have to offer. And more in its own right doesn't mean better. But I think when you combine all the outdoor options and capabilities with all the indoor options, then you have the ability to design a solution for that home that is truly unique, and much more unique than anything that Fujitsu, Daikin, or LG can offer. These guys are going to have to deliver some compromises because they don't have the breadth of product and the ability to combine in such a feature-rich environment that Mitsubishi provides. And that's something I think that you really want to push very hard in your marketing collateral. We are running the rebates again. Our dates are going to be from mid-September to mid-November in terms of purchased equipment, and you need to register that by the end of November. The one change we made is you can register it, but if you install it in December, January, we don't care, as long as you register and claim the rebate back by November 30th. Co-op program it's a third, a third, a third, so it's still the same in terms of funding. Here are the rates. It's the same as the spring. Again, I'd strongly, strongly recommend that you're pushing rebates as part of your campaign. People like rebates. And if you can include your utility rebates, then on these bigger systems, you're going to get close to $1,000. And $1,000 starts to move people in terms of decision making. And what you have is, with a natural deadline of November 15th, you should be using that to try and push those people over the line and make a decision. The good news is that the rebates have been extended, and actually we have Pico now offering rebates. which they didn't do until phase 3 came in of Act 129. So whilst the rebates have shrunk in some cases, we now have a far greater portion of our territory that is can claim utility rebates. Again, we want to really emphasize, make sure you're letting your customers know there's rebates on the product in whatever way you go to market, and let people know. So if you register for the rebates, and please make sure that you are registered for our rebates. We have a number of dealers who are not registered, don't participate in the rebate program. You're missing a tremendous opportunity. And if you're not registered for the rebates, you won't be on our dealer locator. And like I said, we generate between 50 and 60 leads a month from that. So that's one nice advantage for it. The other thing is, this is where you register your rebates. And I will recommend, and most of you do it, is register your rebates for your homeowner. Every time we have a homeowner try to do it, both Pierce Phelps and you, the dealer, spend much, much more time than trying to resolve what they've tried to register. So we find this page fairly helpful. It'll be updated by the end of the week with the rebates and everything, and ready to go. We also use a third party's website on product information, and I'll talk about that a little later, but we decided it wasn't worth our effort trying to keep our product pages up to date on this, and we use EP&L, I think it's EP&L. Their web page, it's been tremendous. We don't have to do anything with it. It's constantly updated. So a couple of ideas on what a lead generating campaign might look like. We broke it down into two segments. One looking at existing customers, which we strongly suggest should be the focus. And this is part of its success is how good a record you have on what a customer has in the home, and hopefully that's something you're starting to collect with your service techs when they're in the home. And it might not be a single zone boiler, it might be someone with oil, it might be someone with electric strip board, but a very specific target. And maybe you notice that they've got window shakers for cooling. So you can actually have a nice message of what you're trying to say, what your call to action is, and you might want to do 3 or 4 drops in terms of mail. This could be an email campaign if you have a nice significant portion of your customers on email and you're talking to them through newsletters and things like this. This could be something that you incorporate in your emails that you send out to them. And then what else can you do to support it? So you could have a Facebook sponsored ad, you could have something special on your web page so that when they get the electronic note or even something in an email, they can then validate it. The new customers, as I said before, I would be a little bit more skeptical. I think this is something you want to look at more in 2017, whereas as 2016 closes. The political uncertainty, we believe, is going to make it just harder to acquire new customers. But this was a program that was directed at heat pump communities, built over 15 years ago. You can look at the typical household income. This is just good information. Mitsubishi strongly suggests you want to be looking at homes with maybe $75,000 and more, value of over $200,000. Here's your message in terms of what you want the people to think about, and here's your call for action. And here's what you might be doing in terms of driving those leads. So what we do every year is we actually reach out to our traditional print vendors, etc., and see what special deals we can get for you, and when you spend your co-op. So again, we have a whole set of what I think are tremendous value print opportunities. And if you do nothing else, please take advantage of this and look at your co-op. But for $27, because your co-op it's a third funded by Pierce Phelps and a third by Mitsubishi, you can get 1,000 statement stuffers. So, for instance, if you're an oil company, you're probably sending out monthly statements. Why not for $27 put a statement stuffer in each of those and see if you can pick up any leads? For all of $75, you can actually do 1,000 postcards that you can then send. For $200, we'll do 2 drops of 500 printed, mailed, and sent. And for $200, 1 lead covers that, 1 sale. We can get a bit more sophisticated and do a radius mailing. And that's within a certain area. And if you know where one of your sweet spots for Mitsubishi is, maybe you've got a neighborhood that has a tremendous lot of electric strip heating, and you're always getting sales there. That would be a great, opportunity for a radius mailing. Again, your cost $450. It's probably less than 1 sale still. Something for your text to leave behind, flyers. Spit them if a sale occurs from one of those as a lead gen. Door hangers the same. But I think there's some tremendous value here. All we ask is you complete a form so we know what you want and sign it. For the radius mailing, just define the zip code. Work with your TM, they'll help you put this together, and work with Alice Wild, who'll do all the creative generation for you. And if you've worked with her, know how well she is, how good she is. She's also welcome to think of it. The radius mailing form. If you don't know what your co-op is, please talk to your TM, and they can let you know the budget. Also, what we're seeing is that there's tremendous opportunity, and people are very engaged with financing. That's how a lot of the younger people like to operate. So many of your offers should include some sort of per month rate. You don't have to go and finance the Rolls-Royce version in terms of financing. You probably want a fairly low-cost option. When you talk with Mike Capuccio, he has scaled down his introductory offer, and it's only sold 2 of the hundreds of systems he's sold through the monthly financing, because they always get upgraded to something else. You should show the rebates in that as well. And we have a very nice program running at the moment with Mitsubishi. So this is a great time to try and put that in front of your homeowners. We also have the extended warranties with JB and Associates. They just rolled this out. It's fairly easy to use. It's a nice online system. If you want to find out more, the website address is here, and also you can email their support folks to get more information. Other useful places to find information. On the technical side, we strongly recommend you look at MyLink Drive, and they've now put in new tech tip videos that are very helpful. If you want to add more content to your website, then go to the Mitsubishi YouTube channel. There's all their commercials, lots of case studies. You don't have to invent a lot of your own content. There's all this information. Mitsubishi's making a lot of this available online. Like I said, we've got this is the webinar we have. We have a couple more coming up. We're going to look at sort of more of a product view on the 29th. James Miracle is going to walk us through what the new products are and what their applications are going to be. And then just to bring sort of like the 4 webinars to a close, we're going to look at sort of lead processing and what we see as best practice. And that's all about how you nurture your leads and how, you might have a lot of folks out there that are nibbling at your bait, to use a dreadful fishing analogy, and how you can keep them engaged and interested so that when their need matures, you're still the guy that they choose. We're also going to do our sort of semi-annual roadshow. And this is really a chance for you guys to actually, sit in a room, talk with one of the Mitsubishi field guys, that would be Ryan Flynn or James Miracle. And if you've got any questions, any doubts, make sure they're addressed so that you're really ready for the heating season when it starts. It's a sort of like help you get your engines running and ready for the checkered flag coming down. So that is just a sort of product view over some of the key products. The floor-mounted units have changed. You can now do a one-to-one, which we couldn't do before. So that's great for some of those sunrooms on the back where we didn't really have a good solution. I stuck in my throat, but often I had to recommend a Fujitsu. Now you don't, and we think it's a better solution. The MVC takes us into a whole new ballgame, because now you can drop that on top of some ductwork and also put wall units or whatever in the rest of the home that's not being conditioned. So that this really gives you that sort of ability to offer what they call the zone comfort solution product set. And there's some diagrams of what that might look like. And here's a nice, easy-to-use compatibility chart. What goes with what? A little bit of a high migraine piece. And then we've also put in a little bit about the P-series. So certainly, we think this is a great product for computer rooms. And I know some people say it's too expensive. What you need the organization that you're selling to think about is, what is the value of their data center and the value of that data to the organization? How much would it cost them if it went out because the cooling system failed to provide enough cooling? And then why Mitsubishi is the right solution is because we have such great reliability and an ability to deliver cooling even on the coldest of days. It's a very simple value proposition that you want to be making there, so that it's about reliability of your cooling infrastructure so that the organization has a reliable data center. And you just look at what happened, for instance, to American Airlines, and their IT system failed for 2 days, and how many millions of dollars that cost them because they couldn't run their organization for 2 days. So kind of product overview, inverter technologies, which you should all know about. RedLink plays both in the M&P. And the ability of both RedLink and Kumo Cloud to talk remotely to and trigger alarms to someone gives the ability of the IT guys to know that everything's running okay and to get a heads up that if something's failed, they're going to get an alarm so they can respond in real time and not walk in on a Monday having had the cooling out for the weekend and things are starting to fail. Here's some of the the traditional offerings, sizing, etc. Standard sort of P series offerings, and then we just stuck the price list in the back. So I'm not going to go through that. So, like I said, the key things that we really want you to be mentioning, it's not just about the product. Make sure you're talking about the rebates. One of the ones I didn't mention was the Electricians Association of Philadelphia. Also, we want to be mentioning financing and what it would be per month. You have great extended labor warranties now. And also, you need to use your co-op to communicate all this and the great products. And that multi-channel marketing is becoming more and more important. It's not just about traditional stuff. It's not just about your social media. It's about how it all works together. Again, we have our road shows. I really strongly recommend that you try and get to one of those and spend some face time, get to know the field rep. Nothing better than being able to pick up the phone and call someone if you've got a question that you've met and he knows who you are. Like I said, we have other webinars scheduled this season. On the 29th, we're going to go through the products, new products, and sort of application opportunities, and James Miracle's going to deliver that. And then on the 6th, we're going to look at sort of lead nurturing and lead processing best practices. So hopefully, this is your chance to make the big leap forward for you guys who've just been dabbling with Mitsubishi. You really want to focus on what is your marketing campaign strategy for the fall and how you're going to generate those leads. This segment, more than any other, I think, is becoming more about how you market and how you generate those leads. And I think Mitsubishi seems to be the best partner for that because they have the best brand awareness. So you need to be asking yourself, what are our plans for the heating solutions this season? Who are we going to target? How much do we have to spend in our co-op budget? Are you going to target your engaged customers? And by that I mean people that you have a service contract with. Previous customers, maybe people you've sold equipment to, but you're not really in an ongoing relationship with, or new customers. Again, I'm going to recommend you hold off on new customers for the most part because with the uncertainty of the election, probably going to be a fairly high acquisition cost. And then you need to ask yourself, what am I going to offer? What are we going to actually use to try and generate leads? And my recommendation is you want to have something about a financing offer, something about the ability to provide the best solution to their specific needs, and make sure you're mentioning all the rebates available, and that there's a hard deadline on some of them, which will help accelerate their sort of need to close. And then how are you going to reach those people with this great offer? Are you going to be just a traditional method? Is it going to be more new? Or both? I recommend you want to be doing both, because even if you're going out with a traditional message mechanism, direct mail, for instance, they're going to come back and look at your website. And if you have no presence on your website, then you are not going to, they're going to go and look somewhere else. And then on an ongoing basis, how are you helping people as they're starting to do their research about their cooling and comfort needs, heating needs? What useful information can you provide? What useful information can you provide that they can download, that you can exchange for their credentials, email address, phone number, etc., so that you start to build, and you're building that electronic database of customer information and leads, so that you can then market to them on an ongoing and very cost-effective way. Now, the reason we put the program books together is really to help you answer many of those questions and build your marketing plan. I went into a lot more depth 2 weeks ago, I think it was, on how to build a marketing plan. We put that online. It's on our Mitsubishi YouTube channel. Mitsubishi, our Pierce Phelps Mitsubishi YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and look at that, or for those of you who missed then please go back and look at that. It'll give you more pointers on how to build a marketing plan. And now, hopefully you've got more information on what we offer and how that would fit into that marketing plan. I must have done a phenomenal job because none of you have asked any questions. Please post any questions up in the little question box. I'll give you a couple of minutes. If not, I'm going to tear down the webinar. And yes, I'm going to send this out. The file itself is probably pretty big, so if you want your TM to deliver you the slides, ask them to download it. I'll make it available to your TM. Oh, sorry, TM, your territory manager. Sorry, your account manager, the person you work with most directly from Pierce Phelps. Trapped in our own internal language. All right, I'm going to finish. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful heating season, and please don't hesitate to contact me if you've got any questions.